Hello, my name is Omar Ambasad. It is Sunday, July 29, 2018 at 12:03 p.m. in Toronto. So, I'm at home, rested, recovering from a cold. The last video I posted, I was pretty tired and still trying to get over the cold, quote unquote cold. Um, I posted some links today in my Twitter account. Those are all mine. These are not hack tweets, these are mine. And I drew some analysis, some parallels in my analysis to Rohini Bississar's case and the way her life played out. Um, as excuse me, as I pointed out in my tweets, there is a lot of parallels between what I'm experiencing and what happened. Well, what happened to Rohini Bississar is I'm suspecting the end result of the experimentation that was carried out on her. And I'm suspecting that the things that are being done to me were done to her as well. Of course, I'm not about to, commit any violent acts anytime soon because I deal with my distress as a result of being experimented on in a constructive way. I'm aware of what's going on, so the awareness gives me the power that's excuse me that's needed to um, not act out in a way that Miss Bissessar did, unfortunately. Um, and I'm sure that there are other people who had the experiments done run on them and ended up in much the same way as this beautiful, accomplished, dedicated, hardworking. I can imagine how hard she must have worked for all that she accomplished. Hardworking woman. Um, I'm sure there are other people like her who's in the pipeline, who's having these experiments run on them by criminals, basically, and have their lives destroyed, completely and utterly destroyed. This is why I'm speaking out. And again, I'm going to make the point. There is no way that I'm going to be this person that that this I'm trying to find the right words because I'm not trying to denigrate Miss Bissessar because I'm sure she's a victim. Um, Although killing somebody in cold blood is a very, 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 very drastic thing to do. Um, it's While it's a really, really bad thing to do, it has to be mitigated. The act has to be mitigated. And I'm saying that this is not going to be me because I'm aware of what's going on. And I've been studying a lot of other cases as well where people just pick up a weapon and attack somebody. People just don't do this out of the blues. And while I agree that there is mental illness and it can come about by a number of things at any point in your life, um, the details of each case are different. And in her case, she was talking about being experimented on and being extremely intelligent. She'd have to be credible to a certain degree. And given also that there are lots of other credible, educated, accomplished people, doctors, lawyers, engineers, politicians, who are saying the same thing and experiencing exactly the same things. It lends credibility to her story. So, while I study the case and I'm saying that there are a lot of parallels in my case to hers, there is no way that it's going to end up the way her life did. Um, in fact, what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing to make it different, make that ending different, to change that ending. Because I'm speaking out because I strongly suspect, as I pointed out in my tweets, that in order for these experiments to be carried out, um, the police have to be infiltrated. And again, not all police men and women take part in these experiments or agree with them. I think that some of the policemen and women are themselves victimized this way. And I've met some really good police people, so I know not all of them are involved in this process, in this crime. The ones who are criminals, basically, and they should be cleaned out of the force. They should be kicked out of the force. They're destroying innocent lives, vulnerable victims. They choose vulnerable people to be victimized this way. They are criminals. They are criminals. So the reason, as I was saying, I'm speaking out is because I'm scared of these infiltrated policemen who are working with the traffickers in this building and anywhere I go, basically, in my workplace, in the gym, anywhere. There are informants working with these dirty policemen to provide them not with truths, but with information and misinformation that could be painted a certain way, could be put together in a certain way to paint a light of criminality, just to put a charge through. They're looking for just enough information to put a charge through, basically, to get me into the system and to get me to be in a position that Rohini Bississar is in. She's in prison, she's controlled, she's drugged, she's being degraded mentally, emotionally, psychologically, as she pointed out herself. She's been damaged while in jail. And while there's always hope, you get to the point where there is no comeback. And this is what is being done in my case. I'm being worked on. I'm being harassed in the workplace. Every workplace I've had, I'm being harassed in. And the harassment was escalated in the last 5 or 6 years. So the whole idea is to get me to that point, the point at which Rohini Bississar is in right now, which is not going to happen. This is why I'm speaking out. Once the policeman who is infiltrated comes to my door, or any policeman who decides to take part in this program, comes to my door and pull me out, nobody's going to get in contact with me, including any member of my family. I'm going to be framed. I'm going to be set up. I'm going to be drugged. I'm going to be disposed of, basically, once they pull me in. Any policeman who comes to my door or anywhere and pull me in based on a call from an informant that they're working with will destroy me. They will dispose of me. I will not come back. This is why I'm talking. This is what they did to Rohini Bississar. Apparently, her mother calling the cops on her and having her admitted involuntarily and have her drugged and diagnosed with schizophrenia was not enough to put her away for life. So my suspicions is that the criminals who were working on her kept on working on her with technology that puts voices in your head and so on, and harassing her and stalking her constantly, and mind controlled her to do something so violent and so degrading to the very spirit of a human being, like murder. There is no comeback. So she's going to be disposed of permanently, and this is exactly what's going on. So you're having as you can tell here, this whole thing is having just the opposite effect on me. Anger is natural when you're getting harassed, but anger could be dealt with constructively and could be used as a motivator to become an activist and to speak out. My upbringing, fortunately for me, has been helping me enormously to deal with what's going on. So, you're not going to get any violence out of me. I will vent my anger, but that's as far as it will go. And the neighbors who are contracting with these criminals are recording my venting and taking it to the cops and saying, "Gee, she's always yelling in her home." Well, if you get harassed criminally, and it will incite anger, and by the way, inciting anger is a crime, which is what the neighbors are doing by using lasers, tasers, and microwaves and so on. They're using these technology to incite your anger. Um, you have to find a way to constructively deal with the anger. Venting is one way. Inside of your home, I never vent out in public. I never, other than telling the harassers to stop harassing me, there is no venting in public, and there is no act of aggression. Anybody who's saying I'm aggressive are just stretching what I'm doing and saying and painting me that way as being aggressive because they need to do that to get me drugged, basically. So if I tell somebody stop harassing me, they'd say, "Oh, she's being aggressive." If somebody is coming around me and talking about, the woman being a prostitute, an effing whore, and effing herself, and so on, if I can't get away from them, if I'm in an enclosed space, and this is going on and on and on, and I can't get away from them, like sitting on a desk working, I will tell them directly or indirectly to stop harassing me. This is not aggression. I walk away when the opportunity is presented to get away from the harassers, to avoid any confrontation. But when I can't, when I'm in a bus or when I'm in a train, and I keep moving around, and anywhere I move around, the conversation is continued because keep in mind that part of the program is to let everybody know. Propaganda campaign is run about you, and all kinds of misinformation is in public. So, and everybody knows you're a target. So if you sit in seat number one, the people around you who decide to target you will start talking. Go to seat number two, the same thing is going to happen. Seat number three, the same thing is going to happen. This doesn't happen every day. A lot of people don't take part in this aggression, and they don't talk. But when it does happen, and there is no way out, I may indicate to the person that what they're talking about is being insensitive. And if they take that for aggression, well, I have a right to defend myself if I feel unsafe and in danger. But as a target, when I did that, when I felt really in danger, and I called 911, I got charged. This is what it means to be a target. The police targets you. And these were two Muslim women with their faces covered. They were harassing me because they were working with the informants called Khalid and Sirmad, who were working with Badrin, who had espoused me, I heard, without telling me, was a steward of me and my assets without telling me, all part of the trafficking and criminal activity going on as part of targeting me. These are all connected. These people are all connected. When I mentioned this to the two police officers who attended the scene as a result of my call, there were no notes, the camera was not turned on. I also mentioned that I was being harassed as a prostitute in the area, as these two Muslim women were. And the workers in the store that I was in were also harassing me. I mentioned that as well. No notes were taken, so there was no disclosure in the case. So this is all related. All the charge, the attempt to have me mentally committed, these are all related to being trafficked. And most of the traffickers are Muslim. The buyers and the sellers are Muslim people. Badr Nizar, Khalid, Surmad, Parvani, Angela, Ali, Akhtar, the Muslim people around my unit. There's a Muslim couple with a dwarf as a son. They're stalking me for years. These are all people who stalk me and then say I'm stalking them, call the cops. And the dirty cops working with them will flag me over and over and over and over again. I'm suspecting this is happening in the workplace right now. Exactly. and being framed, reframed to be charged. The cops who are working with the people who are doing this are traffickers, infiltrated, dirty criminal traffickers. So this is why I'm speaking out. I'm afraid they're going to do exactly the same thing to me as they did to Rohini Bississar, destroy her life utterly, completely. Utterly, completely destroyed her life. To cover up all the crimes that they did. Talk to you another time.